Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Interval Conversations. I'm so happy to... Let me try that again.
Come on. No, keep that in. Keep that in. Keep
Put me
that in.
deeper.
Show the people how. Yeah, come on. Deep breath. You got this. Okay?
Hi guys,
you got to
welcome
keep
to...
that in.
Hi
Yeah.
guys.
Hey, stop.
Stop it.
Breathe. Keep this in. Don't you dare cut this out. Okay? Okay, and in 5.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Interval Conversations. I'm so happy to be joined by my university friend, Mr. Matthew Kennedy. Matthew, how are you doing?
I'm not bad, mate. How are you? Trying to get through all of this. It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, preach it.
Just want to see people. I want to hug people.
Yeah.
I want to come down to Halifax and just hang about with my boy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, it's hitting you hard, and I don't think people can see, but you're wearing a hat.
So,
Why don't you take that off? Why don't you take that off and show
all
them?
the previous episodes, you'll notice I had long hair and a beard.
Right, don't listen to Nathan. Look. Oof.
Yeah. This is where we're at.
Mega Dr. Evil. No, you're more mini me. You're always humping the laser. You're not the cool character. You're Scott Evil.
Sharks with bigger laser beams.
Exactly, mate. Oh,
trouble is getting it back up. Trouble is getting this hat back on. It's like Velcro.
Because it's just slipping off. It's just slipping off.
No, it's not that, because there's still little bits of hair. Like the tiniest hairs.
Did you use like a Bic razor and go right over it?
Yeah,
right. Right, so after good intro, Nathan, very professional.
Yeah. Very professional.
To this now.
So, Matthew,
you know Piers Morgan.
So, Matthew, how did you first get... Matt. Yeah. How did you first get involved with theatre?
So initially it was at primary school.
Yeah.
So I was asked by my teacher, Mrs. Howells, because I was quite a disruptive child. Disruptive? Yeah, so a disruptive child.
Disruptive?
So, mental, wasn't it? She saw it. And she said, we're doing a talent show, okay? And I was, does that mean I can perform? And she went, no. We want you to host it. So she let me host it. But I said to her, can I do all my own material? She went, yes, if I can see it beforehand. So she let me host this talent show in front of like all the kids and the families and parents and stuff like that. It was ridiculous. If I look back now, it'd probably be rubbish. But that was kind of my first sort of step into it.
Yeah.
And then I was part of like little drama clubs and stuff like that within the school and stuff. And I remember speaking to my mum and dad when I was about 8, because I really wanted to go to stage school. You know, I think it was Stagecoach at the time. I mean, other companies are available. But I remember my mum turning around to me and going, this costs a lot of money. Which it does. I mean, I think it's like $3,000 a term at the moment. And in the 90s, that's a lot of money. So it didn't happen. So that kind of just went on into sort of secondary school, and I was quite loud. I was quite boisterous as well. And I remember someone from sort of a local drama club, a girl called Claudie, she came up to me and she was like, you're quite loud. And I was like, yeah, sorry about that. And she was like, no, I'm running a drama club. I'm doing Romeo and Juliet, but it's a modern take. So we've got a character in it called Mercutio, but he's going to be called Mark. And I was like, okay. She was like, I'd like you to play Mark. And that kind of kicked it off for me, really. So I played that character. We did it in sort of a local town hall. And I had such a good time doing it that I've always had that sort of passion for it. But again, life takes over. You get to a point in your life where you've got to kind of make money and pay bills and work, and you can't really just sit on your arse, unfortunately. You've got to kind of contribute, and things happened where I just got bogged down with that work, and it got to the point where I was in my 20s, and I was like, right, I need to do something, because I was a bus driver at that point. I was a bus driver.
This handsome guy
was a bus driver. There you go. See, a bus driver for 3 years. I did it until I was 22, and at that point, I was doing a bit of stand-up as well. So I thought, right, I'll get into a bit of stand-up, which we can discuss a bit later. So I did that as kind of an outlet. And then it got to the point where I kept working, went down south to work in an office. And when that ended, I was 26, 27, and I was sat there on my couch, and I had two options in front of me. It was either join the Navy or apply to college, because my best mate, his brother, had just finished his first year at Glasgow Metropolitan College doing acting and performance. And he's a quiet guy, but he loved it. And I was like, oh, it sounds good. I should maybe give that a go. And it kind of just went, just put the back of your head and do it. But at that point, when I was sat on my sofa, almost in tears, because I had to move back to Glasgow. Glasgow's lovely. It wasn't that. It was just the fact that I had nowhere to go, no direction. But I had those choices. I had the Navy and I had acting and performance. I applied that day, got a call 4 hours later on my way home, stopped in a lay-by, and they said, right, we'll give you an audition tomorrow. So I had to go home. By midnight, I had to learn a speech, and I was in there at midday the next day. Yeah. And then by about 2 o'clock, I had a place on the course. And that's how I got into the sort of acting thing. Yeah. But yeah, there you go.
You've also done, I know from seeing you that you've also done stand-up as well.
Yeah. So that was my outlet. So Glasgow's got an amazing sort of scene for stand-up comedy. I mean, any bar you kind of go near, and if it's got like 6 inches at the side of the room, they'll stick a box there and they'll let people perform on it. It's that kind of thing. And obviously in Edinburgh, you've been there yourself. You've got the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is it's obviously a big theatre event. It's a big arts festival, but primarily it's known for stand-up comedians and stuff like that. I've never done stand-up to that extent. The most I've done on stage is about 25, 30 minutes, and that's a lot. Especially when it's coming from your own head and it's stuff you've written down. But that was my outlet before university, because it got to the point where I was getting a lot older and I was kind of not forced into uni or forced into that kind of going into college and stuff like that, but everything kind of, I think, happens for a reason. So the people that I've met doing it as well, I mean, I think I was meant to do it, and I'd always wanted to do it, even from when I was younger. Like, my mum always reminds me of a story where I was 5 and I went round my Auntie Sharon's house and I hung out the window with a feather boa around my neck saying, Mummy, I want to be an actress. And that was when I was 4 or 5. So I've always had a bit of a flair for that kind of thing. So there you go. That's how I kind of got into it. And stand-up was my outlet when I didn't have stuff like Panto, theatre, university, all that kind of thing. That was my outlet. Terrifying as well. Give it a go. I think everyone should try stand-up at least once.
Yeah. Would you like, because we were just discussing before we started recording, would you like to tell everyone the first time you did comedy?
Oh, right. So, yeah. Well, thanks, Nathan, for bringing that up.
Welcome.
So, cheers, man. The first time I did stand-up was in the Stand Comedy Club in Glasgow. They have a night on there. It's £2 to get in, and it's called a raw night. You get given 5 minutes, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you've got 250 people in front of you and a spotlight blaring at your head, which is so warm because it's like the stage is probably 5 foot by 2 foot, so it is tiny. It is literally a tiny stage, and the person in front of you in the front row is literally 10 inches in front of you. It's quite intimidating. So the first time I did it, I was talking to my friend Mark, who he hadn't done stand-up, but he'd written a lot of comedy. He was like, yeah, you should give it a go. You're quite funny. You're quite off the cuff. I was like, right, yeah, okay. So I started writing some stuff down, a few stories. I don't really like telling jokes per se. I like telling stories. So I wrote down a lot of ideas in my head, and I did the old thing where you kind of maybe write it on your hand just in case you've got it there. You can just go, right, okay, boom, there we go. Guy came backstage and he was like, they're quite hard ass about it. They've got a schedule to keep. They've got 10 acts and you've got 5 minutes. And he goes, right, okay, I'm going to flash the lights when you've got 2 minutes left. And like, can you flash the lights when I've got 3 minutes left? And he went, I like that. Be prepared, because if you go over that 5 minutes, he presses the button that plays the music and you've just got to walk off. It's like the Oscars, you know, when like Charlize Theron just won't shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? They just go, oh, come on, play the music, and then they just get you off. It's brutal, but that's what they've got to do to keep that kind of schedule. And so he did that. I remember just being there, and you'll know this. It's like when you go to a theatre, you know, just before the curtain goes up, and you're in the audience, and the overture starts to play. So it's a musical, and when it goes quiet and the lights go down, and you can just feel a buzz and energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same when you're backstage as well. You get that as the butterflies in your stomach, and it's literally a curtain, 5 feet. You're on the stage, and you can just feel a heat from people, because it's in a basement as well. So you can just feel this heat from all these people. And I remember standing there, and then the guy introduced my name, told everyone it was my first time, ran on stage, and I thought, right, okay, I've got this. I'm smashing this, because people were laughing the minute I was running out, because I was a lot bigger back then, so I was kind of jolly, sort of waddling out onto the stage. Got the microphone. It was too high, and it was literally there, because I'm only 5'7". It was literally there. I walked out, looked up, and just went. People laughed. I was like, this is easy. This, you just got to kind of look up at a microphone and get it down. It's fine. And then I couldn't get it down, and people just started laughing. And then I managed to get it down, and then I was like, I'm really sorry, I've forgotten all my material. Straight off stage.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. Literally on stage for 30 seconds. Performed for 30 seconds. Story of my life, Nathan. There you go. But he came backstage because I was on just before the first interval, and he was like, "Oh, mate, happens to the best of us. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We've still got stacks of time. Do you want to go on in the second half?" And I was like, "No." Worst decision of my life. I should have done it, because if I'd have went back out there, the audience is instantly going to be on your side, because they're going to be. A raw night is for people to try new materials, people trying it out for the first time. It's such a friendly audience. You know what I mean? And it would have just shown it had balls, and they'd be instantly on your side, because they'd be like, "Oof, he fucked up, and he's coming back for another go." Yeah, fair play, but I didn't. Should have done it. And then after that, I think I was 19 at that point as well, so I was quite young. I didn't go back on stage, didn't stand up until I was in my 20, 21, 22 maybe, and it was at the Glasgow stand again, and I learned my material. I learned it very well, and it went absolutely amazing. Did the whole thing with the microphone again. If it works first time, it's going to work again. The microphone was too high, because the comedian who was the compere was big tall guy, didn't adjust it. Did the thing again, and that was that was my way of
breaking the ice.
Yeah, breaking the ice, but it's also, you've got the two things I really learned about stand-up is there's no such thing as nerves. This is true with all performance, right? Oh, sorry. There's no such thing as fear or nervousness. What's happening is your body is pumping endorphins into your body so you can do the job that it knows it's going to do. That's all it's going to do. It's giving you extra energy. That's the butterflies in the stomach. It's basically going, it's pumping your body up. It's getting ready to just, you know what I mean? And give everything you got. It's probably not true, but I like to get that into my head, because I don't want to go, oh, I'm scared, I'm shitting myself, I'm terrified. But also, like, if you've got a visual gag like that where you don't have to talk, it lets you scan the room and become familiar with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, if you're in a play, you can come on, you can look out to the audience. It's taking that breath just to go, right, I'm here. No one's going to hurt me. I know what I'm going to say. Relax, and then go into it. Because a lot of people I've seen, they'll go out and literally clap. Hi, blah, 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 blah. My name is, race through the material. But if you just give yourself that beat, it lets you just relax and become acclimatized to the room, even looking people in the eye and stuff like that, and see a friendly face. It's weird, isn't it? I feel like a real weirdo talking about stuff like that, but it's true. And that's the same with everything. I mean, you can use that in stuff like if you're a trainer at work and you're terrified of talking in front of people, take that breath just to look at someone, or okay, and then go into it, because no one's going to judge you for taking a little second to yourself. And another thing I learned as well is new people will tend to race through their material and they'll try and get through it. Like, it's like doing a speech, it's like doing Shakespeare. If you don't give people a chance to understand it, they're not going to either laugh, they're not going to cry, you're not going to get the emotion that you're trying to get out of them. And as well, I was told by a really good comedian in Glasgow, he goes, just because they're not laughing doesn't mean you're not funny. It just means they're listening. And that meant a lot. Just, he goes, if you get to a punchline and they don't laugh, just move on. Don't leave a big gap. But he goes, if you're in the middle of a story, people can get thrown off very easily because there's no laughter, because a comedian wants laughter. That's what he wants. And if he's not getting it, he goes, they're not laughing, quick, go. And so it's good to just think, they're just listening to your story, don't worry about it. They'll get to the joke, okay, get to the next bit, and then punchline, love it. It's fine, and it shows confidence. If you show you can own that room, you'll be a lot funnier. I've seen people that aren't that funny, but they own the room the minute they walk out. Yeah, I haven't done it in a couple of years, but I'm definitely going to do it again. Yeah, I love it.
So you've already let me throw. So you've already touched upon of why you went to university when you did the choice. Do you have any university highlights? Like, what was it like going in? If you don't mind saying, being older than the year group.
Beg your pardon?
We went through these questions before. You said it was fine.
I know, I'm really kidding. Yeah, it's fine. So when I went to university, I'd done 2 years at college in acting and performance. Got A's all round, Nathan. All A's for performance. Thanks very much. Then I got into whole uni, and I was the old boy. I was the grandfather.
Yep.
I was the person who remembered a time before Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember saying to people, the world was better before Facebook. And it's like, you're old, man. You're really old. Because the age was, 18 to like 22? Yeah. I think there's only myself and another girl, Beth Cleater.
Yeah.
We were the older ones. She was 26 and I was 28, 29 at that point. And the worst part was I sat down in the foyer of the Donald Roy Theatre and someone walked up to me and went, "Are you one of the lecturers?" And I was like, no. Either I look really intellectual or I look really, really old. One of the two. Which one's it going to be? Old. Yeah, thanks, Nathan. I just did it by your face. Yeah, it's all by your face. But again, that is intimidating because I didn't know what to expect, really. And I didn't. It's scary in a way because you're going to be hanging about with people and working with people who are a lot younger than you. And I got into my head before I went that I knew that going in, and I knew I was a lot older, and I didn't want to preach to people. You know what I mean? I mean, I've got a bit more life experience than them, but don't try and push that on them. Just be normal. Don't try. I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't going to try and be 21 again because I wasn't 21. I was 28, 29 at that point. There's no point. My youth had gone. Sure. I'm 33 now.
But you still had the energy, trust me.
Yeah. That's still had the energy and gave it as good as I got. But I made a lot of friends as well. I kind of got a lot of energy back as well because obviously I was hanging about with people that wanted to go out and wanted to go out and party. I mean, and I joined in with that as much as I could, as much as I could allow. And then in third year, I tied my shoelaces and threw out my back, and then it was just my body reminding me that you are old. This needs to literally. I threw my back out the other day. Do you know how I did it, Nathan?
Oh.
Getting into bed. Giving my body rest was like, oh, you like that? Literally, I doubled over in pain for about an hour and a half.
Oh.
Literally, I had to use my grand's prescription painkillers. It was that bad. Yeah, but there you go. But uni, yeah, initially terrifying, but it comes back to experience doing stand-up again. It's like walking into that room and just taking a beat and going, right, who are the people in here? Right, they're a lot younger than I am, but that's fine. I've made some of my best friends at uni. Like people I still talk to now, like Craig, Aidan. I'll put yourself in there as well. Go on. I met the best people in uni. You know what I mean? And people that I'm probably going to work with in the future. So best experience of my life. Everyone should do it. Everyone should do drama. I think even in primary school, I think it builds confidence. I wasn't unconfident before I started doing drama, but when I did it, it puts you out there. It makes you work with people. It makes you gel, and it kind of lets you know that you can walk into any room, and everyone doesn't hate you. You don't need to be nervous. They just want to get to know you. That's it. That's all it is. And just put your stamp in that room. Yeah. Did I answer the question?
Yeah. So, what highlights do you have from it? Was there a certain production, certain people? Obviously, we touched upon Clegg and Aiden.
So if we do people first, like I said, still talk to a lot of people from uni. I've got some of my best friends from uni. I've obviously got my mates outside of it that are like childhood friends. But I met obviously Clegg, Aiden, myself, Jake Smith. He's a really good writer and father of two now. He's a lot older than I am. He's got 2 kids, but he's not. He's younger. He's got a family and all that. Whew, just had a.
And here you are throwing your back out, getting into bed.
Exactly. He's got prospects and stuff like that. I got nothing. But yeah, I met the people that obviously I fell in love at uni as well, with probably one of the nicest girls ever. It didn't work out. Probably more my fault than hers, but unfortunately that is life. But highlights in terms of production, Jerusalem. That was really my big thing. It was kind of, I don't know if people are familiar with Jerusalem. It's a play by Jez Butterworth, and basically it's a play about a man who lives in a woodland in the middle of a town, and what they want to do, this town, they want to bulldoze it and build houses on it, but he won't leave. He's basically a gypsy, but he's very spiritual. He believes that there are powerful ley lines across the earth, and it's a place of symbolic energy, and he believes that you can converse with giants, and he's on the face of it crazy, but he's not at the same time. And it's basically about his fight and struggle with the local council. And he's a drug user. Kids hang out with him. They take drugs with him. They have mad parties. And it's just about his last final days in that campsite. And that was a 3-hour play. It was by Jez Butterworth. So go out and read it if you can. It's amazing. I think it was Mark Rylance that played it in the West End. Yeah. So that was my first big ego. Let's see what you can do. That was my highlight. Being able to be on stage for 3 hours for 4 nights in a row. It nearly killed me because it's quite difficult being under all of those lights. And I'll be honest, my diet at the time was not good. I was literally rehearsing on yogurts, chocolate, slush puppies. Wasn't drinking any water.
I don't think any of us drank water at uni.
No, I don't think we did. Well, we drank water, but it was sort of mixed in with sort of fermented potato that made it vodka.
Yeah.
I think that's how we got our H2O.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jerusalem was a big thing for me. And like I said, the diet, it was a potato dog. I'll tell you this now. Potato dog is literally a really salty, meaty hot dog, right? And it's covered in mashed potato, fried.
Let's play Spot the Scotsman.
3 of them a day, right? Oh God, I could barely walk by the end of the last night, and I got what are they called? An infection in my throat on the second to last night. Throat infection. I could hardly speak on from the second half of the last show. I could hardly talk.
Tonsillitis.
And went, wow, that's the one. That's the one. It was Ollie came up to me after, he went, mate, that was brilliant. It was like from the second half, it was like you really broke down even in your speech, and I was like, because I could not talk at all. But yeah, that was my highlight, my big highlight.
So obviously we did little shows together, and the big musical at the end of the year as well.
Oh,
You're in town.
You're in town. Do you want to explain what You're in town is? Because you're more of a musical boy than I am.
If you don't know You're in town, it's essentially a piss take of a musical. So it's set in like a post-apocalyptic world in a sense, where water has run dry, and the evil Mr. Cladwell, played by Matthew, I think is that side. He gets people to pay to pee. So a rebellion starts when the lead character Bobby meets Hope, who turns out to be Cladwell's daughter. And there's a couple of police officer characters. I played one of them. And it was, if you refuse to pay or they catch you peeing without paying, they take you to Youre town, which means death.
Yeah. Great play though. Honestly, great play. Some of the songs in that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really cool. What was your song with Beth? Because you played
It was the cop song.
The cop song.
And I remember having to reteach it her every night because she just forgot.
That'll be the wine.
Bye, Beth.
Love you, Beth. But yeah, she's great. Beth's great actually.
Yeah.
She helped me learn Midsummer Night's Dream outside of Lowton, and Lowton is basically our rehearsal rooms, and we sat outside for about 4 hours, and she helped me learn 3 speeches from Shakespeare Midsummer Night's Dream in 4 hours. Just getting pissed. She wouldn't let me touch my drink unless I got it right. But thank you, Beth. But yeah, so you're in town. Sorry, I'm just veering off.
I was done with it. But yeah, you're in town was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
You played one of the cops.
Yeah, like I was.
And I played Mr.
Officer
Cladwell.
Barrel. Yeah, Officer Barrel. But
Lock, Stock, and Barrel.
Yeah.
Come on, Nathan. You got your notes in front of you. You can do this. Come on, be a pro. Be a pro.
So
But yeah, so
moving on after university. Well, actually, no. One thing I want to talk about is the house before I move on.
Oh, here we go.
Because I lived with Matt when I was in my second year, and he was third year. I also lived with Aidan Osborne, Alex Clegg, Chris Crover for a time being, and Holly Glosser. So shout out to all of them. But so living in a house with 4 other students was quite intense.
Living with the lads and Clegg. Sorry, Clegg. But yeah, it was intense. We had fun, didn't we? Is that the word we'd use?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I had a great time. Nathan, how was your second year experience? Perfect.
It's quite traumatic. I've just got out of therapy from it.
Well, I can tell a bit of hair loss in there as well.
Yeah, just a bit.
Flashbacks.
Just a bit.
There you go. Yeah, it was quite strange being in a house of drama students, because the year before that I was in a house with people that I lived with in my first year in student accommodation.
Yeah.
It was really strange waking up with people not in the same bed. I mean, like, you'd be in the same house. I mean, obviously Nathan, they're coming for a cuddle every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, thunder and lightning, he gets scared.
Yeah.
But waking up, having breakfast, and they're there, and then you see him a couple of hours later. So it was kind of like being married a little bit, like, or taking your work home with you. Sometimes, like, you can't argue with those people as well. If you have an argument, you've got to go home and then speak to those people. You know what I mean? Yeah. We had some crazy wild parties as well.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the parties. So we became known as the party house, and one of the parties, I think it started on your 30th. That party.
Oh, my 30th party was crazy. You couldn't fit any more.
We were matching.
We were. We wore our Star Wars onesies, didn't we?
Chewbacca
onesie. Oh, I've still got mine.
Same. We should have worn them.
We should have worn them.
Yeah.
There we go. It's ruined now, isn't it? Start again.
Yeah.
But yeah. Go on.
So that party started a trend, and after a couple of parties later, I had to go. No more parties in this house, because people thought it'd be funny to steal stuff from the house or hide them around the house. So, like you were saying just before we start recording, Matt went to go cook. It was like, where are the gas hobs? Where are the gas hobs?
Where are the rings? Yeah. It was one. It was like, oh, I'm going to go cook something in the microwave. Oh, there's no microwave. And Nathan, the one you told me before you came on, it was so in our uni house we had you walk in, you've got the living room, and then it just breaks off into a kitchen. So you got your 2 sofas, you got a bit of artwork on the like student artwork in a shitty house on the wall. And I remember Nathan walking in, really tired after a long day. He sat down, slump. Oh, for fuck's sake, where's the painting? And everyone just turned in and went, oh, for fuck's sake, where's the painting? It's ridiculous. The worst one that you brought up earlier, Nathan, was Aiden and Clegg play the Xbox when that's their downtime. They play FIFA. That's what they do. Oh, when the Xbox controllers went missing.
Oh,
I didn't play the Xbox at the time, so I was kind of like, oh, considering out. But that was like World War III. But the cutlery drawer. Who takes a cutlery drawer?
So we'll put our cutlery drawer out in the garden. Clegg went for a shower. You were saying. We just said, for fuck's sake. Someone had taken the shower head.
What's up, Clegg? I can't have a fucking shower. Why? Oh, that someone stole the shower head. I laughed, but Aiden got really upset when someone stole his mouthwash. They hid the toothbrushes, which is weird. I mean,
what else was there? There were more. I'm sure there were more. But it got to a point where we either locked the doors, and we tried that, and people still managed to weasel their way in to the bedrooms.
Oh yeah, easily.
So I just went, no more. Come on, no more.
Nathan was like father, wasn't he?
I was the responsible one.
No, I was responsible. I was quite responsible. I wasn't as bad as like Craig and Aiden weren't even that bad. It's when you invite one person and they invite 3.
Yeah.
And then you've got 4 people there and then they invite 3 and it's just like it got ridiculous.
That's what else got stolen. Bloody light bulbs.
Oh.
The light bulbs kept getting stolen.
It's stuff like you wouldn't even think though. Like who steals a light bulb when you walk in and go, come on, ridiculous. And you wouldn't notice a toothbrush missing until you go brush your teeth. You know what I mean? The shower head's genius though.
Oh god,
the shower head's genius. That's funny.
I think that was hilarious. B. I think that was B Clapham.
Well done, B. We've forgiven you now. It's funny. It's funny. I do have one. So it was our last couple of weeks in the house, and so we had 2 weeks left to go in this uni house, and I was having a shower at the time. Okay, and people didn't give me the relevant information that I should have known, and basically Clegg, Aiden, they have a habit. So I'm in the shower, lathering up, imagine if you will. Okay, take that image with you. Okay? Burn it into your retinas. Hey, lovely, right? So I'm showering, and they had a habit of banging on the door as hard as they could, just to really like piss you off. Or I think there was one point where you can actually, with a fork, get in. And I remember having to like hide myself behind the shower curtains, like that. Tell them, get out, leave me alone, see my boobs. I remember I was having a shower, someone banging on the door, and then I went, "Fuck off! I'm washing my cock." And then I just heard, "Yes, we're from the housing agency. We're just showing 6 girls around." I went, "Sorry." And they went, "Not a problem." Oh well. So I just shouted to 6 girls and a rep that I was washing my penis.
At least they knew it was going to be clean.
Exactly. Wasn't lying. It was truthful. Always be honest. Always be honest. Yeah, our house was good, and we got to know each other as well. It was quite nice.
A lot of late night talks.
We showered together. Exactly. You know, we showered together. Save water. You used to cook stuff and leave me leftovers like a cat. You just be like,
I literally did.
You just be like, and I'd come scuffling in like a little pussy, like just waiting for my bowl to be filled.
It's when he was scratching on the door. That's when it got ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like because
you had a litter tray in your room for me, right?
You what?
You had a litter tray in your room for me, right?
Yeah, just in the corner
at the end of your bed.
Just in the corner. Yeah. I remember I went away for about 2 weeks. So I went down to London with a girl I was with at the time, and I made food, but I didn't realise how much time I didn't have, so I was in a rush. So that's what started it off with Matt. It was like, There you go, Matt. There's some food in the fridge.
Your mother and father at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's weird. It's like I kind of you slip into those roles. Like I was 30 at this point, and I had a 21-year-old boy making my dinner for me, which is weird. For
All fairness,
nothing
I'm a
in
good
return.
cook.
It wasn't a quid pro quo. You were a very good cook, mate. I'll give you that. And it was to stop. I think it was to the point where you walked in and went, Matt, you need to stop eating Chicago town pizzas. It's ridiculous now.
Literally,
Like,
it was built in
if I'm cooking, I'll
Chicago
make
with
more.
these pizza boxes.
Oh yeah, it was just stacking on top of each other at that point, wasn't it? You walked in and just went, Matt. You went, Matt. What is this? It's ridiculous. It's taller than me. If I'm cooking, I'll make extra. And I was just like, thanks, Nathan. Thank you.
Do you remember when Holly tried washing up? She put
No.
bleach in. She put bleach in. I had to proper rewash it. Because I got to think, went, why does it stink of bleach? Oh, I put bleach in.
Oh, Holly. Holly's great though. She's so
okay.
funny. Ridiculously funny. You can't be mad at her for that.
No.
It's just hilarious.
Well.
But yeah, so we got to go know each other. Uni was a very good experience. Learned a lot there. Yeah, definitely do it again. I'd maybe go a bit younger, but I'm glad I had the experience.
Yeah. And we keep the same house call.
Oh yeah, because we all love Wolf of Wall Street. So every time someone would walk in, what would we shout, Nathan?
Hilfa!
Hilfa! Hilfa!
It got to a point where it's like, oh, do you know if Nate? I just heard. I think it was Clegg or Ed. They went, oh, do you know if Nate's home? Have you messaged him? I just heard Matt go, hang on. Hilfa! He just heard from my room. Hilfa!
There you go. It was the easiest way to find out where people were, or if you wanted to know if the house was empty, you just shout Hilfa, and you just hear Hilfa, Hilfa, Hilfa. Good. That was our little, not a mating call. What's the word?
It's like the Twilight bark from 101 Dalmatians.
Exactly, mate. It's like a dog whistle. That's what it is. It's you ticking on the bowl, because that's when I know my food is.
Matthew!
Come on, Hilfa, Hilfa.
Hilfa!
But stuff like that's I'll never forget stuff like that. That's a good experience to have and take that forward in my performance. Yeah.
Performances. So moving on from university, talk about performances. You got involved with a touring pantomime company.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what was it like to take those shows on tour?
So we did Aladdin. It was 6 people in the cast, so there was a lot of doubling up. We stayed in Clacton upon Sea. That was lovely. In December, so it was freezing cold, and so they send you out with a van, and you've got flats in the back, so you had all the equipment in the back, all the sound equipment, all the flats, all the costumes, absolutely everything in the back of this van. I could drive, so I drove as well, and a couple of others did. And we toured, so our base was in Clacton, and then we toured around. Maybe the furthest we went was 30, 40 miles out, but there was once where we'd taken it to Coventry and back, so you'd have to go there, get all the stuff out, set up, do your show, break it down, put it back in, and then go back to Clacton. So you could leave the house at 5 in the morning and you'd be back at 10 o'clock sometimes. You might have to go from one school to another school, and then home, and you'd be absolutely knackered. And then they made me tour manager, Nathan.
Oh God. Oh God.
It was my job to liaise with schools and do all that stuff, and it was fine. I just did it all on the first day. I phoned every school on the first day and went, "Yeah, we're coming on this time. Yeah, oh, thank you, done." And I closed the book and didn't look at it again.
Yeah.
That was it. It's difficult, that one, because the way it's set up, you might have one show a day, you might have 2, you might have 3, but it's the setting up and breaking down of everything and packing everything away. And these flats can weigh up to like 40, 50 kilograms as well, because they're really high. So it's quite exhausting. And you have to really be strict with yourself in terms of sleeping. Like if you know, like the way where we were, we might have a show on the other side of London. So we'd have to be at a school for 7:30 in the morning, And Clacton is an hour and a half outside of London, so you'd have to be leaving the house at about 3 o'clock because you don't want to get caught in the traffic. But if you get there too early, you're sat outside of school for 2.5 hours
In a van.
until a teacher turns up in a white van until a teacher turns up. Some schools will go, we weren't expecting you today, and they'll be like, no, I phoned on this date, and they confirmed it, and they went, oh, okay, yeah, just sit up in there. Stressful. I don't know if I'd do it again. I think it knocked a couple of years off my life because it was quite stressful, and on a day off wasn't a day off. So a company that I was working for found that they basically try and fill performances on every day. And if they found a performance, if you were off that day, you drive there. Like one group were based in, I think it was Southampton. They drove to near enough Land's End to do a performance, one performance, and then drive back to do 2 more shows the next day. Yeah, it's quite brutal. I think everyone should do it though, just so, because the year after that I did Aladdin in the theatre with another company, and it was just kind of night and day. Like, yeah, it was tough. But that's what a lot of actors. That's acting. That's hard. That's what a lot of people do, and a lot of people love it. And I can see why people love it, because you have such a good time. If you've got a good cast, you bond together and you work together as a team. And we spent Christmas and New Year together as well. Sorry, I went home for Christmas for one day, but because I had my car with me as well.
Yeah.
But you spend New Year together. You spend a good portion, about 3 months together, and you really get to know these people. For example, a guy, Richard Sams, who bought a company the year after and cast me in Aladdin in Taunton the next year. So that took me onto that. It kind of just opened that door for me to do Panto again next year, but in a theatre, a really good theatre as well. But it's definitely an experience. More good than bad, but the bad is quite bad.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
So that sort of brings us on to the next one. What horror stories do you have from those?
So the touring Panto, I don't necessarily think they have horror stories, because you probably get that kind of stuff working in an office, luggage stuff about all that. It's just, that's the basic stuff. So when I left my job down south and I went to do college, it was 2 years at college, and in our second year, what we had to do, we had a Panto. So we did this Panto, toured it around schools, and that's great. It's just in Glasgow, and some schools are really appreciative because kids don't get that. That's so exciting for them. But on the side, myself and my friend Chloe, we got cast in a professional pantomime in Bathgate, just outside of Edinburgh. So quite a big theatre. It was 400 or 500 seats at that point. And they cast me as Dame Widow Twankey. I shall give you a photo after this, and you can click it up.
There we go. That's
Beautiful,
him.
That's me. That's me as Dame Widow Twankey.
And I can top that with, well, not top it, but here's another one from Panto.
There you go.
There we go.
Lovely, beautiful faces.
Oh, yes.
Make great girls. So they cast me as Widow Twankey, which was amazing. So I've got 2 horror stories from this one. So they gave me a script, and with a Panto script, I think it's best if the writer or producer or anyone isn't too precious with the lines. I think with characters that talk directly to the audience, such as your stock characters like your Dame, your Principal Boy, Wishy-Washy, that kind of character, they need to have that flexibility within their script that they can ad-lib a little bit. But this particular one said, this is the script, this is how you must read it. And I was like, it's my first professional job, I don't want to piss anyone off, just do it as it is. I think I told you this one, Nathan. So school group came in. It was a very small group. So if you imagine a 500-seat theatre, there was 30 kids in there, okay, and 2 teachers that were standing at one side of the stage, looking directly at the kids. I didn't know what it was. So boom, 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 come out as the Dame, and I come out with this joke. I say, my husband ran off with a deaf man. I should have seen the signs, obviously in my Dane voice, which is a lot better. No one laughed. Absolute silence. No one laughed for the rest of that monologue or that performance. And I walked off and went, what happened there? And he went, oh, didn't we tell you that the school for the deaf was in today? And I was like, and you let me go on with that joke, knowing how precious you are with this. Not go, Matt, by the way, school for the deaf's in. We're going to cut this one out for you. Let's not offend people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just turned to him and I went, you are an arsehole. I'm rewriting this entire monologue. So I literally sat there because we had a performance in the evening. I went, bang, 1, 2, 3 jokes. Say, hi, I'm Widow Twankey. Oh, I've not got a husband. Have you seen Aladdin? That's it. That's all I had written down. And I went out, and for 5 minutes I played with the audience because I'd done a little bit of stand-up. I was quite comfortable just walking out and just knock, knock. Who's there? Europe. You're a poo. I'm not a poo. You're a poo. That kind of thing. You know what I mean? And when it's kids in the audience, they love it. So after that, it was great. My second horror story from this one, I think I told you this one as well, Nathan. So I was trussed up in all my gear, all looking beautiful, had my red wig on, and I was singing, what was it? That's What Makes You Beautiful. It was the Dame song for that year. So halfway through the song, so you had all these kids around me as well. So you had, I think, 6 dancers from the local theatre group. So they must have been from the ages of 5 to like 12. They were really going for it. I mean, that performance wasn't for me, it was for the kids because their family was in. And paramedics rushed in. And there was a man in the middle of the theatre on the stairs clutching his chest. He was having an angina attack in the middle of me singing That's What Makes You Beautiful, right? So you had all these audience members like, oh my God, they're not looking at me as I'm dancing on the stage like this. And I could see what was going on because I looked at the light box at the side of the stage and I went, because it was in the middle where it was like a dance break, and I went, and he went, as in, just keep going. I was like, baby, you light up, finish the song. That's what makes you beautiful. Curtains just drawn, and it was just like, what's going on? And then we had a 5-10 minute intermission. The head of the theatre went out on stage and went, that's fine. He's absolutely fine. He's with paramedics now. And then they came backstage and went, we're going to do That's What Makes You Beautiful again, just to kick it off. So I had to go out and do the song all over again. And yeah, that was quite bad because obviously there's a man having an angina attack. I don't know necessarily what that is. I'm not a doctor, Nathan. I'm not a doctor.
I don't either.
Yeah. So there was someone who was having a medical issue, and their thought is just go, okay, Karen, finish the song. He's not enjoying it, but the audience probably is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Carry on. Whereas I would be able to go, oh my God, someone needs help. Oh my God, someone needs help. Weird, really weird. But that's that, yeah.
Yeah. So how was doing these Panto, and obviously throughout Youre, all these roles, how has it helped you as an actor and performer? How has all these helped you along the way?
Has helped me. It's made me a lot more confident. It's made me a bit more. I don't know. That's quite a tough question, Nathan. Did you put that? You didn't put that on the question list, did you?
I did.
You just slung that one in there just to throw me off.
I can check your messages. It's on the list.
Oh, I'm not on my phone at the moment, Nathan. You want my full attention. How's it made me as a person? It's boosted my confidence. It's made me a lot happier. Because I'm doing things that I want to do. I wasn't happy working in offices, and I wasn't happy being a bus driver. I was really happy at uni because I was doing the thing that I wanted to do. I was acting, I was performing, I was meeting people, and I think that's quite a basic answer, but I think you've got to kind of do what makes you happy. It's like, I'm going to do as much as I can. I mean, it's quite difficult to do Panto at the moment and act at the moment because obviously the way the global situation is at the moment. But as soon as that finishes, it'll all pick up again and all the actors will go back out to work, which is great. So I'll carry on doing what I want to do. Like, I'll do Panto every year. I'm booked to do it this year again in Taunton, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we can do it. But yeah, it's like a simple thing. Like when I told my gran I was going to go to university, she went, just do what makes you happy, and that's right. That's all you can do. Just do what makes you happy. If you want to be a janitor, go and be the best janitor you can be. If you like sweeping floors, then you fill your boots, mate. You got them. You go and sweep those floors. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Final question Do you have any
Final
advice?
question. We blasted through this.
Oh, do you have any advice for anyone?
For people that want to act.
Yeah, or want to get into this industry when it's safe.
Right, okay. When it's safe, yeah, exactly. Pick your specialise. Pick something you want to specialise in. I love Panto. I'd be happy if I was just a Panto comic actor for however long, as long as I can be. Find something to really focus on it, get good at it, really enjoy it, do it. I think people can be thrown off because obviously you see stuff on TV, you see stuff in films, and I think a lot of people think that's what acting is. Whereas if you go on tour with a company, you could be doing a production of whatever it is, and it could be in the back room of a bar, it could be in a primary school, it could be in an old people's home. That's what a lot of actors are. About 98% of actors don't work on TV and film. They work on stage. They work in old people's homes. They do theatre in the community. And I think that's where you'll either realise that you really enjoy it or it's not for you, because no one just jumps straight to television unless they're so lucky. If you want to do television, go and do television. It's a very hard route to do, but for myself, I like to do Panto, and I'm doing Panto every year pretty much, and I'm going to get back into stand-up. But my biggest advice would be pick what you want to do and grab it by the horns and don't let go, because I'd rather do that than get to my deathbed in Glasgow. Deathbeds are usually there by about 45. I'm middle-aged now in Glasgow, but I'd rather get there and go, do you know what, I gave it a go. I might not have been the best in the world, but at least I enjoyed myself. Yeah. And if you're like I was, stuck on a bus, the number 75, going on Castlemilk 4 or 5 times a day, and all you wanted to do is be on stage.
I'm the face of Megabus, so.
You are the face of Megabus. Take your hat off again. Show me your hat. Show me your head. Oh, lovely. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
What's my fee for this? $1 million.
$1 billion. Seriously, who throws a cupcake?
Who throws a shoe? Honestly. But yeah, just go and do it. You're not going to be a multi-millionaire at the end of it unless you're very, very lucky. Yeah. But you will meet some of the best people ever. Like going to uni, friends for life. I do Panto with people every year. Still talk to them today, and I did Panto with them 5 years ago. Because you bond with these people, you get to know people, and I think acting will round you as a person as well. So when you do, say, Jerusalem, for example, you've really got to get into the mindset of someone who isn't you. So I'm quite a laughy, jovial. I'm not a gypsy alcoholic that lives, in the arse end of nowhere who's about to be evicted. You've got to kind of study and how to get into that. And on the outset, it looks kind of, oh, you're a method actor, but it's not. You've got to try and understand why this person is the way he is, so you can actually perform that. And I think it gives you a greater understanding about different types of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you get that with working with different people, with every different job you do. You'll meet just a range of people that you wouldn't have normally met. I mean, if you want to work in an office with the same people all the time and you're happy, amazing, perfect. But if you want to meet loads of different people, acting, drama, stand-up is the nicest place you can be. Stand-up's quite brutal. Some stand-ups are a bit you've got a thick skin for that. But yeah, acting's brilliant. Do it.
Do it. Well, Matt,
just do
thank you. Matt, thank you so much for joining me.
Was that all right? Was that any good?
Yeah, that's good. I just have to sign off. That was all right. So thank you, guys.
Please, Nathan, see the start when you mumbled and fucked up the start. Please leave that in because it looks real. Then it can't be too polished, right? And now you're going to do your closer.
Yeah.
This is where you're going to sign everyone off. Right, cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop the recording and we'll carry on talking. So thank you guys for joining me.
So you stopped the recording already? You stopped the recording already?
Stop it. Stop. Behave.
Right, you finish. I promise. Go.
So, Matt, thank you for joining me, and thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Interval Conversations.